Apotemnophilia. Now, once in a while, it's totally normal to try and change your appearance by turning your black hair blonde or shaving it off entirely. You've probably even tried to get a piercing and tattoo before. These are very regular lifestyle changes that just make living a little more interesting. But for someone with the mental condition called apotemnophilia, these changes are just child's play. This mental condition is characterized by the abnormal, intense urge to cut off your healthy body parts because you feel like some part of your body doesn't belong to you. It's a bit like wanting to solve a jigsaw puzzle by removing pieces already in place, and your limbs are the puzzles that have overstayed their welcome. Why cut off your hair when you could literally cut off your entire arm instead? People with apotemnophilia believe that the only way they can feel whole or complete is by cutting off a part of their bodies. The freaking irony. Well, this condition isn't about self-harm in the traditional sense, but it's about aligning their physical body with their internal sense of self. Like your brain's got a weird feng shui rule. This arm's gotta go for balance. Your internet search history would be full of DIY videos on how to remove your limbs and get the desired results successfully. Talk about taking do-it-yourself to a whole new level. Pica. Imagine your taste buds suddenly developing a sense of adventure, so much so that they start craving things that aren't food at all. Kagra Syndrome is like your stomach deciding it wants to audition for a reality show called Extreme Eating, the non-food edition, and you suddenly have a strong urge to munch on things that are, well, definitely not on the menu. Think of craving chalk like it's your favorite candy, or munching on dirt like it's the latest gourmet snack. You see, instead of grabbing a bag of chips from the fridge, you would head outside and pile dirt, stones, concrete, and even paint chips onto your plate. You may even find yourself browsing the cleaning supplies aisle for dinner ideas. Pica can be caused by a bunch of different things, like nutritional deficiencies or just plain boredom. It's more common in kids and pregnant women whose bodies go through a lot of hormonal changes. The good news is that unlike your wild cravings, pica can be treated. Doctors can help figure out what your body needs so you can return to enjoying normal food. Because while eating chalk might make for a fun party trick, your digestive system will definitely appreciate sticking to actual food. So the next time you find yourself drooling over a bar of soap, remember your taste buds are just trying to keep life interesting. Kagra Syndrome. After nearly 2 blissful years of dating, you finally tie the knot with the absolute love of your life. The honeymoon is a dream filled with sun, sand, and way too much pina colada. But when you return, you start to notice something odd. Your spouse, who you know better than anyone, suddenly feels different. Welcome to the mental disorder known as Kagra Syndrome, aka Imposter Syndrome. Forget about doubting your abilities, this is doubting every single person in your life. Kagra Syndrome is a mental condition where a person is utterly convinced that someone close to them, like a friend, spouse, or family member, has been replaced by an identical imposter. This bizarre belief often kicks in after severe head trauma or in the presence of brain diseases like Alzheimer's. It's like living in a real-life sci-fi movie where you're constantly convinced that aliens abducted and replaced everyone you know. Familiar places like your home now feel like an elaborate replica, and you begin to feel emotionally detached from people you were once very close with. However, while this condition can feel like you're living in a constant state of a bad sci-fi movie that could lead to depression and frustration, you can still live a very normal and healthy life with therapy and the proper treatment. And if all else fails, remember, the real test of love is standing by someone even when you're convinced they're a robot. Diogenes Syndrome. Imagine living in an apartment where every single surface is completely covered with piles of newspapers, food wraps, trash of every kind, old clothes you've had since you were a baby, and even a zoo's worth of stray animals. Now, not only is your entire apartment a chaotic trash house, but your personal hygiene is also someone no one would want to write home about. The last time you had a shower or even changed your clothes was months ago. You see, this is precisely what living with Diogenes Syndrome is. It's not just about being messy or dirty, it's an overwhelming and compulsive need to hoard and neglect oneself. The idea of cleaning up or throwing anything away feels as foreign as flying to Mars. If you have this condition, you would withdraw from friends, family, and society and live in self-imposed exile amidst your clutter. The worst of all is that you would literally feel no shame or embarrassment when people are talking about your living conditions. Sadly, Diogenes Syndrome usually affects older people and typically starts after they experience a traumatic loss of something or someone dear to them. It's as if your brain created an extreme defense mechanism to loss and decided to hold on to everything it perceives as special, no matter how silly. People with Diogenes Syndrome rarely reach out for help and are often diagnosed after a family member reaches out for help on the person's behalf. Kluver-Bucy Syndrome. You're just about to start your morning jog when a video from your favorite channel on YouTube, The Evaluator, just pops up on your screen. But just as you try to click it, someone suddenly pushes you from behind, and the next thing you know, you were kissing the concrete like it was your long-lost lover. You stand up and notice a slight bump on your forehead, so you just go back inside, place an ice pack on it, and call it a day. However, a few days later, you start noticing some very odd behaviors. You've been putting random non-edible things in your mouth and chewing on them like a puppy teething on your favorite pair of shoes. And let's not even mention how you became hyper with everything and everyone around you. Just yesterday, you caught yourself eyeing your microwave and thinking, "Ding, you look hot." Well, apparently the fall you had a few days ago has caused a condition known as Kluver-Bucy Syndrome, which affects your frontal lobe and amygdala, the area of your brain that is responsible for emotion, behavior, and memory. It's like your brain was a well-organized library before, and Kluver-Bucy Syndrome is a little gremlin just misplacing, confusing, and rearranging all the books. Now, not only are you hyperactive in ways that would make even rabbits blush, but you're also forgetting familiar faces and objects. You're also experiencing confusion, short-term memory loss, and a general lack of fear, even in situations that would normally make you scream louder than a horror movie protagonist. Like, you could see a huge angry bear and go to offer it a hug. Kluver-Bucy Syndrome can also be caused by severe infections like herpes and conditions like Alzheimer's disease, which also love to play hide-and-seek with your brain cells. So while your brain's been turned into a playground, remember to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Because honestly, what else can you do when your brain starts thinking microwaves are sexy? Stendall Syndrome. So, your date decided that visiting an art gallery was the perfect way to get to know you. Sipping red wine while admiring beautiful paintings and sculptures sounds like a flawless plan. But as soon as you enter the museum, you feel completely breathless, startled, and too stunned to speak. You experience a sense of overwhelming awe and suddenly feel incredibly dizzy due to all the beautiful art pieces in front of you. Your date thinks you're falling in love or having a bizarre reaction to the museum air conditioning, but you are honestly just experiencing Stendall Syndrome, aka Aesthetic Syndrome. This condition is a very rare psychological disorder that affects the way your brain processes beautiful objects. While every other person in the museum seems positively pleased with the art pieces, you, on the other hand, would feel dizzy, stunned, moved to tears, and might even faint on several occasions. This bizarre reaction to art is like your body's way of saying, "This is too much beauty to handle." Looking at a piece of art would trigger an intense adrenaline rush that would literally make you feel like you were skydiving. It's like all the artistic data overloads your brain's Wi-Fi. Well, the good news is that Stendall Syndrome isn't really dangerous and mainly affects those who are highly sensitive and prone to intense reactions. So if you usually cry after watching cat videos on YouTube, in that case, you should stay away from art museums before you experience a major psychological breakdown over the Mona Lisa. Aatom Mania. The average human has probably had a crush on some famous person once or twice in their lives, but the crush usually fades away over time, especially when you realize that Brad Pitt will not show up at your doorstep with a bouquet of roses. However, for someone with Aatom Mania, this crush and intense likeness of a famous person is multiplied by 10,000. They're utterly convinced with all their heart and soul that a celebrity is madly in love with them, even though they've never met the person. It's like believing you're in a secret romance, except the secret is so well kept that even the celebrity has no clue. You might might think, hey, this sounds like a regular crush. But no, it's a whole different ballgame. If you have Aatom Mania, you're way past the point of a harmless crush. You believe that your celebrity crush is secretly in love with you, and anyone who tells you otherwise is clearly just jealous of your perfect relationship. It's like having a secret admirer, except you're the admirer and the secret part is that it's all in your head. This delusion can wreak havoc on your life. You might turn down real-life romantic opportunities because in your mind you're already in a serious relationship with a pop star. If your crush so much as smiles or winks in a TV commercial, you'll be convinced it's a coded message just for you, a signal of their undying love. You would constantly think about the person and might even resort to stalking and other intrusive behaviors like checking their Instagram page 50 times in one day, something similar to what your ex used to do. Boanthropy. Imagine this. One morning you wake up feeling particularly motivated and decide that you're not a human anymore. Nope, you're a cow. Well, this is because boanthropy is a rare psychological disorder where a person believes they are a cow or an ox. Yes, you heard that right. So instead of going to work or school, you might feel an irresistible urge to head to the nearest grassy field and start grazing. Now, not only do you identify as a cow or ox, but you'll also act like one. You'd literally swap out your suit and tie for a bell collar, and your breakfast cereal is replaced by a fresh patch of lawn you can't wait to munch on. This peculiar condition really goes beyond mere imagination or play acting. If you have this condition, friends and family might find you out in the backyard chewing cud, or at least trying to, and gazing blankly at them, contemplating the complexities of bovine life. They might say, "Hey, what's up?" and you'll respond with a casual "moo." Boanthropy is thought to be caused by a mix of psychological and social factors. Some say it's triggered by stress or a deep desire to escape human responsibilities. Others think you just really want to connect with your inner cow. But don't worry, it's not permanent. With some therapy and a gentle reminder that your tax forms won't fill themselves out, most people eventually return to their human selves. Until then, let's hope you enjoy your time mooing with the herd. Ebomb Syndrome. For the past 3 weeks, you have been tormented and traumatized by bedbugs. But now that you've finally fumigated every crook and cranny of your house and thrown away all your old infested furniture and clothes, you believe it's time to get back to your beauty sleep without worries. However, a condition known as Ebomb Syndrome or delusional parasitosis rears its ugly head and puts a stop to all your sweet dreams. This rare and disturbing condition makes people believe they are infested with parasites even though there is absolutely nothing there. This isn't just a fleeting itch or the result of watching a creepy crawly movie. It's the intense and almost paralyzing fear that your skin is constantly crawling with bugs. It's like having a pet bug you can't see, feel, or find. Talk about high maintenance. You would feel as though the bug is constantly crawling on or inside your body, leading to constant scratching and picking that can leave open wounds and sores all over your body. You might even start to actually see the tiny creatures in your surroundings and your skin, but honestly, it's just your mind playing tricks on you. This delusion can lead to severe anxiety, OCD, vivid hallucinations, and intense discomfort. Your financial and social life would also take a nosedive because you would spend all of your time and money looking for imaginary bugs by hiring pest control and fumigation services over and over again. Dyscalculia. So, it's another day of sitting in your algebra class and everything looks normal. The teacher is busy writing down weird calculations on the board, the students nod attentively and copy the calculations, and even the trees outside your classroom window seem to be doing exactly what it was meant to do. Well, except for you, or rather, your brain. You see, for the past hour since your algebra class started, you have been unable to make sense of anything happening because your brain interprets numbers the way a DJ remixes songs, totally offbeat and unpredictable. You've been noticing this for a while now, so you convince your mom to take you to a doctor, and after a series of tests, it is confirmed that you have a rare mental disorder called dyscalculia. It basically affects the way your brain interprets numbers and mathematical problems, and people with this disorder find it extremely difficult to solve the most straightforward math problems or even count numbers correctly. Everyday tasks like shopping, budgeting, and cooking become a constant battle with numbers, and one you will not win. It's as if your brain is doing a cha-cha dance with numbers, and while others see a straightforward 2 plus 2, you see a jumbled mess of absolute rubbish. I mean, if you think math is tough, you should really try seeing it through the eyes of someone with dyscalculia. It would honestly be easier just to ask them to detonate a bomb. But that's probably not a good idea either, considering the fact that timers also have numbers. Well, you can see the problem. Living with dyscalculia is like trying to catch butterflies during a hurricane, but thanks to our sponsor for today, Brilliant, your math-solving problems just became a lot easier to live with. You see, Brilliant is not like the regular platform that promises to help you navigate the world of maths and technology but leaves you with tons of materials that make no sense. This platform applies a hands-on approach like nothing you've ever seen. I'm talking about interactive lessons that will teach you everything you need to know about mathematics, AI, data analytics, and programming from the ground up. Not only that, Brilliant's methods have proven to be 6 times more effective than simply watching lecture videos, and all the content provided on the platform was crafted by experts and an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, and professionals from all the big tech industries like Google and Microsoft. To be a part of this and try everything Brilliant has to offer, all you need to do is visit brilliant.org/theevaluator, or you can also find the link in our description. You'll also get 20% off your annual premium and subscription, and everything is free for a full 30 days.